Hi guys. So we are going to be just kind of starting our first draft of our writing today, and we're just going to spend time just getting information down on the page just so that we have somewhere to start. Now, if you are someone that would prefer to kind of lay out your outline or maybe have a pathway of your writing before you start writing, you are more than welcome to start that. I will show you a quick little video of how you can start that. But otherwise, if you're someone that just kind of has to throw it all on paper and start writing, today's your day for that. So I'm going to show you really quick on my screen here how I am going to do a little outline, and then I'm going to show you how I am just going to start writing. So I remember in my planning, in my subtopics and my topics planning, I chose to write about dogs, and I'm pretty sure that's the route I'm going to go with for my paper. Not 100% sure yet, so I still have time to change that if I get through today and realize I don't know if I have a lot of information to continue a whole paper on this. Okay, so I know my topic is dogs, so if you can see my screen here, just writing my topic at the top. And then I listed a bunch of different topics, and so now I'm going to do a little list. You guys decide how you want to do it. But I wrote down all my different subtopics. So I know there was equipment, and I talked about that in a subtopic of a subtopic later on. Different routines for taking care of dogs or having a dog, feeding them, maybe the different types of food that they eat, playing and exercise, hunting, taking them to the vet, and I can even add in stuff about my dog Silo. Okay, so now I kind of have a pathway of how I'm going to lay out my paper, but right now I'm just going to kind of look and see, is this in the order that it's in right now? Does that make sense for a reader to read? If I start out talking about dogs and how to take care of them, this is what I know about them. My first subtopic is equipment. Does that make sense to start explaining first, or do you think something else would kind of make sense to start with first? Right now I'm kind of thinking equipment would be okay, because before you get a dog, you kind of need to have some different equipment and materials and things in order to take care of a dog. So I think I'm going to keep that first, and I'm going to kind of make a little bullet here and just say, or list some of the different equipment. And I actually have that in my planning page here. So I said I need bowls for food and water. I know I need a leash probably, but I can't connect the leash to the dog if I don't have a collar, so I need a collar. Probably a brush. You need treats. You need food. You need toys. You need shampoo. And all. And maybe a bone. We'll say that. Oops. Okay. So I have all of my equipment listed there. So this will look very similar, and actually does look very similar to my subtopic equipment page, and then I listed subtopics to that subtopic. So this is all from the notebook page that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going with this and just kind of think about different routines or different things about feeding the dog. Routines, I know you have to have a bathroom routine to take the dog out, go to the bathroom, probably food or feeding when you feed them. Bedtime routine, a bath routine. If you take them for regular walks, sometimes I know my dog, every day when I get home from school, she knows that we should go for a walk. So she's kind of in that routine already. So I can include that with the routine. Feeding, I know that I could do the different type of food. I know we buy her Purina. I don't know the name of it. Purina food. We feed her 1 cup each meal. I know we feed her some treats too, morning and night. That's probably about all for feeding, and water. I should say water too. Okay, then playing and exercise. And you know what? I'm not actually going to continue with mine, just because I think you probably by now should start to understand kind of the layout of this planning if this method works for you. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow this to a T. Remember, this is pretty flexible. If you're writing this and you're realizing, well, wait a second, maybe I should start talking about the feeding first before the routines, because routines are something that a dog learns after a little bit, but they need to eat right away when they get home. You have the ability to change that and move that around in your paper. Okay, so here is my planning. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter down to the next page, and I'm just going to start writing on the next page. If you want to start a whole separate document for your writing, you can do that too. But this is kind of what I like to call word vomit, and I know that sounds kind of gross, but word vomit is a time when you are just talking, and or writing in this case, and it's just all of your ideas and information are getting thrown out, and you can't really stop them from coming up, kind of like when you're throwing up, unfortunately. So we just want to spend time getting information down on the paper. Everything that we know about our topic, we want to just throw out on our paper. And then we have plenty of time later on to look through that information, organize that, clean it up, edit, revise, all of that. So I know I'm just going to start writing a topic or an introduction paragraph. What I want you to do is think about when you're writing our paragraphs that we write. We have a topic sentence. We have supporting detail number 1. We have supporting detail number 2. We have supporting detail number 3. Am I spelling these wrong? I am. And then we have a conclusion sentence. Now, we will obviously be able to clean these up as we go, or clean up this paper as we go. But here's what I kind of want you to start wrapping your head around or thinking about when you're writing your paper. Each part of a paragraph that we are experts at writing on now, we usually have a sentence dedicated to this. And then if you have extra information with your supporting details, there's another sentence in your paragraph. Now with your paper, since we're not writing a paragraph about this whole thing, we're writing a long paper, I want you to take each one of these parts of a paragraph that we are really good at writing and expand them into a whole paragraph. So instead of a topic sentence, it's a topic paragraph. Instead of supporting detail number 1, it's supporting detail paragraph number 1. Same thing with number 2 and number 3. So now each one of these is going to be a paragraph long instead of a sentence, and a conclusion paragraph. Okay, so when we're writing this, we want to make sure we have at least 3 supporting detail paragraphs, which would be 3 of your subtopics that we have listed. So I would do, if you're going up to the top here, I would have at least 3 of my dark filled in circle bullets. So equipment, routines, and feeding are my supporting details. And then everything that's listed underneath that is what I'm going to talk about in that paragraph. Okay, so right now, technically, if you look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 supporting detail paragraphs listed. That's fine. You're not required. Oh, hold on one second. You are not required to have only 3 of these. We want to make sure we have 3 of them, but you can have more than that, and that's just going to make your paragraph or your paper more detailed. So those that I have bulleted first are going to be my supporting detail paragraphs, or what that paragraph is going to be about. So I should have a whole paragraph in my paper about equipment that I need for a dog. I should have another whole paragraph on routines that I teach my dog. I should have another whole paragraph on feeding. But like I said, this is not set in stone. So if you are writing your paper and you're realizing that you need to change things, get rid of things, add different things, or kind of switch the order of things around, you're totally able to do that. Right now, we're just kind of getting all of our information on so we have a start, and then we will organize it after that. Okay, so I'm going to start writing just my topic paragraph and just say, dogs are so much fun to have as a pet. Okay, now I realize that's not a very good 6th grade sentence, but I can just go back in later and add in more detail to that. So right now I'm just going to focus on getting that information in. Dogs are so much fun to have as a pet. They can be so playful and encouraging when you are sad, and they make you laugh so much sometimes. They are so soft and cuddly and make the perfect pets. Okay, so Just rough information, got that done. I need to expand that more because that's probably not a full paragraph, but I can do that later. I just kind of want to get the information in first. So supporting detail paragraph number 1, I'm going to talk about equipment right now. Before you decide to get a dog, you need to make sure you have some of the following equipment. Hopefully that's the last one. Okay, so before you decide to get a dog, you need to make sure you have some of the following equipment. So then I'm going to go back and just reference some of the equipment that I talked about here: bowls, leash, collar. Your dog is going to need a collar and a leash in order to take, I'm going to say her, just because my dog's a her, take her outside to go to the bathroom and for walks. You will also need a bowl for food and a bowl for water, and also food to fill this bowl. As you are training your dog, you are going to need treats to reward them or reward her for good behavior. You will, to make sure your dog does not get bored, you should buy bones and treats for her. Okay, so that's just a rough draft, a little bit of information that I'm getting on here, and I'm going to continue this with the rest of my plan, so to speak, of what I have planned out, and know that I can always change or move things around, that kind of a thing. This is what you're going to do today. Okay, so you're just going to spend a whole class period today if you're in person. If you're in person tomorrow, we will be working on this a little bit more in person, and you'll have time to finish it up and continue working on it tomorrow in class. You're just going to get information down. We got to start somewhere. We got to have stuff to work with, so this is your job today. Okay, hopefully this helped. I know it's kind of a long video, but I kind of wanted to give you this idea of how we're just going to start throwing out information and kind of get a plan of our writing so that we know where to go from here. All right.